Every time I put a healthy recipe together, a healthy dish, it needs a bit of a treat. So this is a lovely, stunning, get up and go, fresh granola, first thing in the morning. The treat here is in that little baby, honey. So that sweetens it. So just start off with 200 ml of delicious honey into a pan, just to warm up. In she goes. Now, I know these are a chef's favourite, but it makes all the difference, especially for breakfast. A fresh vanilla pod. And I think of the way that I use herbs to add flavour to soups and salads. I like to think that vanilla does exactly the same. Scrape out all those wonderful seeds in. Now, the staple of the granola is the oats. Next, puff rice. Delicious, crunchy, but light and fluffy.
Next, add wheat bran and your seeds. Pumpkin, sunflower and linseed.
And then almonds. Incredible. That nice heavyweight from the nut bunch. Now, bring the honey to the boil. Slowly drizzle that amazing honey in. Give that a really good mix.
Coat the granola with the hot honey.
Just slowly churn it, using the outside of the bowl. You can see it just getting nice and sticky.
Once the granola is completely coated in honey, it's ready to bake. Now, spread the mix on baking paper.
I'm going to season it lightly with a touch of salt on top. The salt throughout dries up the oats, and the honey will roast, colour and glaze the granola. Nice.
Into the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. 10 minutes into the cooking, simply run a spoon across the top to turn the mix and ensure it's crunchy all over.
You can smell that light roast. Look at the colour. Honestly, look, it's crispy. It's delicious. Now, I'm going to tart it up and put some lovely dried cranberries. That just gives us chewy, sweet flavour. Delicious. And then finally, these beautiful berries. Goji berries.
Goji berries are high in antioxidants and have been eaten in China for centuries for their healing properties. But you can add any dried fruit you like.
The cranberry and the goji berries gives it that nice, chewy, rich texture to the granola. Now, this is the best way to store it. It looks incredible. Really incredible. Look at that. Eat well, stay well. Right. Milk.
My homemade crunchy granola. It looks good, tastes good, and it's packed with healthy grains, superfood berries and seeds. It's incredibly good for you too. A breakfast for champions. For my ultimate light lunch, a beautiful quinoa salad with amazing textures and fresh aromatic flavours to excite the palate. Add 1 part pre-rinsed quinoa to 2 parts cold water. If you're not using pre-rinsed, the quinoa grains should be soaked before use to remove their bitter coating. Bring to a simmer and cook for about 20 minutes until the water is absorbed. Spoon the cooked quinoa onto a plate and spread out to cool. Meanwhile, dry roast flaked almonds in a frying pan. Once golden, add raisins, chopped mint, and spring onions. Peel strips of skin from a whole cucumber to make stripes. Then remove the seeds and chop into half-moon slices. Add half cherry tomatoes and the cooled quinoa. And gently mix in with your fingers. Season with salt and pepper. Dress with a good squeeze of lime and drizzle of olive oil. Finish with a few fresh mint leaves.
Spicy Mexican soup. It's hearty, delicious, robust, but served with some tortillas and a wonderful salsa. It's almost like a complete meal in one.
Starting with some finely chopped red onions for my soup.
Let's get some heat going early. These are chipotle, so they're smoky, rich, They don't come with any warning signal, and these are seriously hot. So be adventurous, but beware. A nice teaspoon of toasted cumin, oregano, dried. Now start frying off the spices, the heat. You'll see the chilies start swelling up, delicious. Garlic. Be quite generous on the oil because that helps to blow out the chili. Right now, those onions and garlic are on fire. We're going to balance the sort of heat from the chipotle with sugar. Turn up the heat and really start caramelizing that sugar and the chili. Gives off the most amazing aroma.
Next, fry up a tablespoon of tomato puree. Add a can of chopped tomatoes, cooked kidney beans, and vegetable or chicken stock to cover.
There's something quite exciting about big and bold flavors, because in the restaurants you have to be somewhat controlled. You can't go crazy. So cooking these kind of dishes at home gives me that kind of release.
Chilies, particularly when they're dried, continue to swell and release their heat as they're cooked. So the longer you cook your dish, the hotter it will be.
But it's not as powerful as it needs to be yet. And every 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, that's going to get stronger, hotter, and more delicious. Bring that up to the boil and cook that out for 15 minutes.
Whilst I allow the chili heat to infuse, I'm going to crack on with quick, crunchy tortilla chips and a fabulously fresh and spicy tomato salsa, known in Mexico as pico de gallo. Start by finely dicing 3 ripe tomatoes, 1 or 2 deseeded fresh jalapeno peppers, and half a red onion. Then chop a good handful of fresh coriander, add the juice from 2 limes, salt and pepper, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. For the tortilla chips, rub a little olive oil onto 6 large shop-bought wheat wraps. Sprinkle with smoked paprika and gently massage in. Cut each wrap into triangles and spread them onto a baking tray. Bake for 3 to 4 minutes in a preheated oven at 180 degrees until golden brown and leave to cool. To complete my Mexican lunch, I need to finish my deliciously fragrant spicy soup.
The spice is there. It is absolutely spot on. Now for the cooling down process.
The Mexicans are brilliant at building layer upon layer of flavour with delicious chilies and spices. But they're also experts at tempering their dishes with cooling ingredients like avocado, sour cream and cheese.
That's why you can take that amount of chili, you've got that spoon of richness, spice, and all of a sudden the avocado's almost like a little fire blanket over those chilies.
To further counter the chili heat, Mexicans use a rich, tangy, crumbly cheese, but I'm sprinkling on Lancashire, which is a great British substitute. And last but not least, cooling fresh coriander.
One delicious, spicy Mexican soup. Serve that with your tortilla chips and your pico de gallo salsa. A phenomenal blend of textures and layers and spice and creaminess. Big, bold, and delicious.